We're not going 0-162, Terry. We got a dub last night. Detroit Tigers give it up 1-3 on the season. 7-6 victory. Extra innings.
Big dub.
And my prediction
God bless you,
of
boys.
the 2-4 Tiger team coming into the home opener is still alive.
Very alive.
It is still alive as they play again tonight in Houston. Matt Manning versus Framber Valdez.
Oof.
So that should be a good. But last night, let's talk a little bit of Tigers because the perseverance now. I see in the chat thread. They should have won in regulation. They shouldn't have gone to. This is last night's game. The way that they won is sort of, to me, going to be the way that they win a few games this year, having to hit a home run late. They're going to give up leads late that they should have won, but hopefully be able to hit the long ball. Mm-hmm. How about that, Spenny?
Yeah.
We hit the long ball. Shout out to Riley Green and
Matt Burling.
Yeah,
it was
Look
impressive.
at that going yard, 2-run shot.
2-run home, and then still made you sweat at the end.
Well, that's what we do, Terry. That's in case the guys didn't know if it was over 12. Over 11 or over 12, so they were doing that for. But what anybody take away from the game yesterday? And I know I'm being a little bit goofy on it and the expectations, but they got to win.
Yeah, they got to win, and like you said, Matt Verling, he had 4 hits. He hit that dead center. I think it was a 426 home run in the bottom of the top of the 11th. So. That was good. Riley Green also hit one 416 out, and that thing just kept sailing. So it's good to see the young guys out there making hits. Obviously, Torkelson's still struggling a little bit, but they should have won that. Alex Lang should have got his first save, but Austin Meadows could only jump like 6 inches in the air, and he missed the ball off of Jose Abreu's bat that hit against the wall before he could catch it. But it was still an impressive win. They stopped Yordan Alvarez, who was prime position for the walk-off. He had 2 men on. He was up to bat. He was the go-ahead run, and they got him out of there, and then they got Abreu out to end the game. So it was a good win for the Tigers against, obviously, the reigning World Series champion Houston Astros.
Isn't that what you want to see, Terry? Perseverance.
Yeah, now and then.
Like competitive, but not quit, no quit. Like that's the fact I don't expect them to win.
I never get excited about a baseball victory or a baseball game because there's too many of them. But I think the thing that I took out, thank God Matt Vierling played yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, because if he doesn't, they probably get smoked again.
Mm-hmm.
No, but that's what we're gonna be up against, right, all year long. But can
Matt
we
Boyd
not
had a good
agree?
start.
Like to be able last year, I don't think, to be able to pull that out, especially with the long ball. That's something new. Right, so that gives you a little bit of hope. My hope is that they continue to play hard. The lack of ability, but they give you something that they go out and they give that effort. And I don't care what it is. When you can beat the Astros, that's we said that it was going to be a tough start to the season. Terry did say they thought that they come home 2-4, and that's what they're set up. They win one of the next 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah, but the thing is I mean, it's a flawed team. I mean, we're always going to say they should have won a regulation. They should have won. Just take any win that you can with the Tigers this year because they're going to flirt with 100 losses. I don't think they're going to get there, but they're going to flirt with it because this big onslaught of runs we saw, it's not going to happen every game. It's not going to happen often. But I think the Tigers, who were outscored 21-3 by Tampa, they were embarrassed. In fact, that's what they talked about. They talked about, anytime you lose, you talk about regrouping and everything. The thing that they also said is, we were embarrassed. This is not who we are. We need to show something against Houston. And that's what they did. Now, is it going to last 1 game, 2 games, or the whole series? I don't know. But I'm hopeful they'll split one of the next 2 games.
Is this team better than last year?
I would say so. And honestly, the thing to me that gave me a lot of, I wouldn't say hope, but some optimism that at least they're going to fight is that going to Houston after losing a series at Tampa Bay 21-3, that is no small order. Houston is the defending champions of all of Major League Baseball. They came back. They've got Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, and they brought in Jose Abreu, who us Tigers fans are very, very familiar with, and they went out and beat them. They took a 4-0 lead in the top of the 4th, and they immediately gave it up. It was 4-4 at the bottom of the fourth. Then they gave up a 1-run lead at the bottom of the ninth. And then they had to go win in extra innings, which winning in extra innings on the road in Houston is hard. And they did it. Matt Vierling hit a clutch 2-run home run, and they held the Houston to 1 run in the bottom of the 11th. And I also got to give a shout out to Riley Green. He's a guy that I think all of us as Tigers fans have high hopes for. He was one of the few younger guys who we looked at as showing quite a bit of promise, although his production tapered off at the end. Him being good is huge for the Tigers moving forward. So we saw some things in last night's game, albeit 1 game out of 162, that are promising. Are they still going to be bad this season? Absolutely. But I like to see them get those pulling victory out of the jaws of defeat. That is a team that is ascending. That's something they need to do, and they did it last night at Houston, defending World Series champions, the preeminent winning baseball franchise of the past 7 or so years. Great win.
And I'll tell you what, I know it's only been 4 games, but AJ Hinch has made some questionable decisions already that I've been looking at on when to pull a starter or pulling a starter too late or too early. I thought in the first couple games in Tampa, he made a too late decision to get the guy out of there. And then in this game in Houston, I think he pulled Matt Boyd a little too early because Boyd was cruising. He had a rough first inning, but he was pitching well, and he gave up 1 run. There was only 1 man on, and they pulled him. And they bring in Cisnero, and he hits a batter, walks a batter, and then throws Yordan Alvarez a meatball 95 down the middle, and he golfs it out to center field to tie the game. So I know, I like Hinch. I think he's a good coach, but he's made a couple questionable decisions on when to pull starters already this year.
You are correct, but sometimes we don't know if something was wrong with that starter, and managers are so big on saving arms.
Yeah.
This is new for me because when I first started following baseball, pitchers would pitch 300 innings with nothing. Like Mickey Lolich.
Oh,
The
jeez.
dude,
Horse.
he would just, he was a horse. He would just go. But now we have a new era where we got to save arms. Managers are not just managing that game, but they're thinking 3 games down the road. He's probably thinking about the home opener. He's thinking about a lot of things. And sometimes when you do that, you lose games.
And I understand Matt Boyd especially is very pivotal for the starting rotation because he is the guy that is kind of the holdover for Skubal and Mize because either of them are not ready yet. So you need him because he's the guy like, all right, Matt Boyd, every 5th day, you're going to get a solid 5 innings out of him. So you want him to be healthy. But I thought you could have left him in there for at least another batter in that inning because Cisnero, you brought him in there and hopefully he'd do something, but he kind of fell apart, and that's when Astros tied it up.
Isn't this the time, though, to mess around with those decisions, or if you're going to make the wrong one, to do it early in the season?
Not when
but
you're
even
0-3.
to do it with this team, like
Not when you're 0-3. You got to
but it's
find
this
a
team,
win
Terry.
somehow.
Like, what's it matter if you make the bad decision? You don't you're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I understand
Like,
that, but it doesn't mean you can just what the hell
No,
with the
but if
season.
you're trying something new to see if it works, or putting a different guy in a different situation, right? Putting Cisnero in that situation. Now he failed, but if it's something that was sort of planned, that AJ's trying to say, hey, maybe now's the time to mix and mingle and have questionable decisions, and then to be asked and go, yeah, I'm not going to do that again. I tried something new. Maybe that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, I'd rather him do it this season with this roster than it is moving forward. I see in the chat thread, a lot of people are still, they know Scott Harris comes from great pedigree with the Giants, but they still haven't seen anything yet. And people want to see something on the field or know that they're getting better. Now, I would say, last night, if you're looking for a positive, a new guy in Vierling came through in the clutch, and he was added by Scott Harris. So there's one little sign. It's all these little things. All you got to look for this year are little signs, little signs, little signs. I equate this year's Tigers to the Wings 5 years ago or 6 years ago. If they fit into your schedule, then they can. But they're so far away, right, that all these little things really don't matter. If he keeps doing the same things and it keeps ending up not working, well, then that's a problem.
No, you're right. It doesn't matter, but you still, as a manager, your job is to put forth your best foot every time you go out there.
No, you're right.
And you know, more times than not, you're going to fail because the ball club is flawed.
But are you if you're in AJ Hinch's position, Terry? Aren't you willing to do more risque things right now because at the end of this and the whole scheme of things that it really doesn't matter at the end if you can do something that hey, wow, I'd never done that before and it seemed to work. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Just trying.
It could be, and also I have this. This could be AJ Hinch's last year in Detroit. He knows this. He's going to have a flawed roster, and it's not just going to be this year and next year. He's going to have this for a while, and so I think AJ Hinch may, at the end of this season, say, "Peace out. I'm out of here."
Well, there it is. You know, and maybe that's you know where we're at right now. Maybe as a lot of us thought when AJ Hinch came here to change everything around, but again, is he going to want to wait the 5, 6, 7 years?
Or 10 years.
Or 10 years, or what? Is that what you I said, Neil and I were talking, if I put the clock on, I'm putting 900 whatever date, 6 years. 6 years before we get back. Am I wrong with that?
Oh, you could be right, but you should be wrong because the Tigers play in a bad division. What teams do you fear out of the division? Minnesota? No. Cleveland? Cleveland is probably the class of the league, but they're not that great.
Yeah.
Kansas City is Kansas City. And
Chicago's got the talent, but they can never pull it. Chicago's got the talent, but they can't pull it together, and they lost to Abreu. So.
Right, but I'm talking about the totality of the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what I see the next 10 years, Cleveland is probably the class of the league. Are they world beaters? I mean, Chicago, you know, I'm sure if you're a Chicago White Sox fan, you have a team in Chicago, you feel that team should dominate a piss poor division.
Yeah.
But we live in Detroit. We know that people love baseball here. We've seen greatness out of the Tigers. We believe the Tigers should be that team that contends for the division title at least every 2 to 3 years. Mm-hmm. And even when it goes through a rebuild, it should be back within 4 or 5 years. Because you're not competing against the Yankees and Tampa and San Francisco Giants. You're battling against Cleveland. They're not even Indians anymore. The Guardians, for heaven's sake.
No, but it's time, and I think that to your point, Terry, out of this conversation, it's a fact. Is AJ Hinch on not a short leash, but does he want different things, and is he going to move on? So it's something to watch. But to your point, Matt Manning on the hill tonight, Spenny. We'll see maybe some of these decisions. I think Nick was the one that brought it up in the chat thread. Is that Turnbull too long, Boyd too short? Just observations we're making early in the season. We'll see if it continues.